Well, you don't really. I mean, if you see on this next step, see how much changes in this first step.
Okay.
So, as long as you recognise that that's at a different frequency to that, and look at what the difference is, it's not like a wave number iteration where you have to keep going through and through and through.
Right.
You're pretty close to the minimum of that curve, and it's quite a flat curve by that point. So, you use intuition as to.
What happens if we were on the part of the curve which had a steep gradient? Will that change vastly with each iteration?
Well, you're on a bit of curve with about the steepest gradient to start with. That was about the steepest gradient. That's why it's changed so much in this case. But there's no reason why you have to start with that 10-second case. You can start with the minimum curve, for example. If you start with the minimum curve, you'd now be pretty much bang on. If you start at an value of 1, you're not very far out.
Is it better always to start with the minimum of the curve?
No, it depends on the shape of the added mass curve. So that can depends on geometry of the slope. So what do you get then? I mean, has that actually changed much by that change of mass? So that goes for what you say, 2/32. So at omega n, I think it's nearer to 2/27.
Yeah, 2/27.
Right, so that's what I'm actually using on the second iteration. So does that change this?
0.95. Not much.
Right, and then convert that one to a period.
6.62. That sounds about right. 62. What are you on about? Round it up. Start. You're getting shafted. Look at your calculator.
So at that frequency, we know
6.62. Yeah, look at the number after it. 8. Oh, bollocks. Fuck you. 9. Your face is
T is about 6.6 in that case. If you calculate it for that, is it much different?
well, I'm just following the maths.
Yeah, you showed me that.
How much change does that cause to period? So what's the period corresponding to that? Period corresponding to that?
Maybe half. 2/3.
2/3. Really? That big?
Huh?
This is only
No, like
0.15 different.
about a second. No, 0.1 seconds.
0.1 second difference. So small. So like it's not a massive difference. Just recognise the calculation process.
So, we followed the maths, but I don't know what we're trying to do in the last bit from A3, but
so we've assumed the value of A3 to start with because we want A3 at the natural frequency, but the natural frequency is what we're trying to get. Okay, so we've assumed that the natural frequency is 10 seconds and use that value of A3 to start with. And from that graph, the value is 255 at 10 seconds. Right? So then we're using that as our first estimate and plugging it into our omega n calculation, and we get a value of omega n. Right? But we only get that value of omega n if the added mass is oscillating at 10 seconds. Okay, so because this isn't 10 seconds, that added mass doesn't actually get developed. Right? So what added mass does get developed at that frequency? Well, then we go back to our graph and say, well, at 0.934, the added mass that gets developed is actually T27. Right? So let's plug that value in instead and check. So then we're replacing that value for T27 and redoing the calculation because we know now that we're really close to our added mass, plugging it in. Right?
No.
And then we get a converged value. And because this is pretty close to this, much closer to this than it was to this, so this was for 0.628 rads per second, which is miles away from 0.93. So that's 50% bigger than that was, right? Whereas this is only, whatever, 1.5% different from this. Okay?
So this time period, is it the period of the float, not the incident wave?
Yeah, so we don't even need to have an instant wave in this case.
Right, okay.
Right, so for a natural frequency of a system, it could be a system recovering from a shock. Something different. Yeah. If you were to take your float and lift it up in the water and then let go, it would oscillate around that position and return to its mean position. If you twang a ruler on the end of the desk, it oscillates and then returns to its mean position. Right? So there's no instant wave in this case at all.
Right.
Right? So we don't necessarily, we can have zero wave forcing, right? That forcing only exists if we've got a unit amplitude wave. But this exists if the float is oscillating in any way. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, so there is no wave yet, but that's the frequency of a wave that would be radiated if the float was oscillating on its own, without external force. Right? Okay, good.
How can we tell there's no instant wave? I got a bit confused.
Well, it isn't that there doesn't have to be. So a natural frequency will exist for any structure, any system, irrespective of whether it's got force on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got a natural frequency and there's no wave hitting you.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's just an aspect of a mechanical system or a structural system. Okay, so what else do we need to do with that information? Right, so we've got a forcing on a float down here, and we've got a natural float which is different, and we've got part of a non-dimensional pressure equation, which we probably don't need. Right, so part D, we need part D. What does part D do? Someone read part D, what are you after?
Target optimal power capturing heave.
Optimal power.
Capturing heave.
Captain and heave. So what are two expressions for optimal power from a float in heave?
P wave L over 2 pi.
Right. Wave. Right, great. And
PG squared A squared over 4 omega L over 2 pi. I think that's just P wave.
so rho G squared A squared
Over 4 omega.
4 omega times L over 2 pi. Yep, that's the same as that, because that's P wave.
Yeah.
Right, what about difference there?
In terms of H and T? Do you mean?
That's the same as that one. I'm more thinking in terms of things we might know, like forces. So you're going to be saying in text. Optimal power can be related to either the instant wavelength or to the radiation wavelength. So this is instant wavelength, L. Right? I'm not sure if you can read this to the question. So what's the expression that relates power to the radiation?
Then. Sorry, say that again.
So this is an expression that relates optimal power to the instant wavelength. It says in the question that there's an equation that relates power to the radiation damping also.
Right. F naught squared over 8b.
B. Right. So, now, what are we going to do with those? What do we need to do for the question? Calculate the optimal power capture and heave. Right, so which can we use?
The F0
So we
squared
have
over 8.
everything
First.
but either of
F0
those
squared over
ways.
8b.
For the first part, the left part.
For this part.
Yeah.
So we've got everything that we need for that. Okay. Have we got everything we need for that?
I think we don't have the value of thing.
Okay, so we don't have that, so we can't use that, so we can use this.
The
Do we have
value.
everything in this?
Sorry.
Do we have everything in that equation? Have we
No,
got
we don't have the wavelength.
You don't have the wavelength.
Find the wave number to find wavelength.
Yeah, it's deep water, so you can simplify.
GT squared over 2 pi. Is it deep water? Or you just assume?
No, it's
It says.
GT squared over 2 pi.
Well, it is.
Isn't it always deep in this pool?
just after part A.
Alright.
The immersed volume of 5
Yeah,
meters
deep water.
each drop located in deep
Oh,
water.
okay.
GT squared over 2 pi. GT squared over 2 pi.
Do we have everything to evaluate this equation? So what's, so you can do wavelength, so what's an equation for wavelength? So it's 1
GT
over
squared over 2 pi.
2 pi times L, so what's L?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Tell me.
GT squared over 2 pi.
I don't like it.
So in the case that it wasn't deep water, you had to
You don't want to be wrong.
special formula to find the wave number, right?
If it's not in deep water, yeah, but that's not really the case.
It's the same wrong.
You have to solve this question.
Root squared A squared over 4 omega.
So, L is 2 pi over k, but there's no room to solve this.
Yeah, I mean, but if it wasn't deep water,
If it wasn't deep water,
yeah.
you could solve this
Yeah.
to obtain the wavelength. Yeah. Yeah, so you could do equivalent to say L is equal to 2 pi over k, and that is obtained by dispersion. Yeah. Generally, we don't need to do that. You probably actually more relevant to hide the sites in this course because they're shallower than the last one. Right. So you might want that particle kinematics as given, don't know very much about that. The point next student haven't understood. Right, so you've got everything you need. Density, gravity, amplitude. So this is one of the points of confusion, I suppose, because in hydraulics notes A is wave amplitude, but in these notes A is radius. So I shouldn't really be using A, that should be our alpha or our mod A or something like that. I'd say alpha squared. So in these notes we actually give it alpha, but I should really give alpha as A. So that's our 1.5. What is omega? Which omega are we using?
Real one.
We've got 3 omegas that we've presently got on optional. Omega is 2 pi over 10, which is 0.628. Omega n is equal to this, which was not quite converged, or this. So which of those 3 are we using for optimum power?
0.95.
Because
It's the natural frequency, it's more like sound.
and
Resonant.
optimal power curve, because and
Resonance.
resonance. Right, good. So it all makes sense. We've got natural frequency. Right, so we're using this value of angular frequency such that the wave frequency is the same as the natural frequency. To get some magnitude of power.
T.
Well, actually, I'm a bit more generous than that in the question, but assuming the resonant response to the wave theory 6 so
Tells it as well.
you don't even get the answer to that one to be able to do this.
So which one are we going to use? It's like,
It says
it's 6 seconds, that's the time period.
these are new
So,
waves.
so you just get 2 pi over t to get the omega. So the t squared in that equation is 6 seconds as well, isn't it?
Well, you've done this bit, so use that, but yeah, you use 6 seconds because it's said in the question that, you know, the point is you've gone through this process, but if you ran out of time on that bit and didn't get to an answer, you just use the 6 seconds. So yeah, you should be using 6 seconds to supersede that value, but it means the same as that value.
Right.
Right? is the construct of an exam. So really the system has that natural period.
You know in that part, the P opt equation, because are the omega and the T related?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're not four different things, are they?
No, so that and that must be
Oh.
the same thing. That must be 2 pi over that, and that must be 2 pi over that.
Alright, so you can simplify that.
Yeah. Well, that's squared anyway, so you can't get rid of it.
Oh.
You do have a linear function. Oh, sorry, a cube function too.
Can you repeat the part with which angular frequency we select? I know that we gave already in a value, and if we picked 6, would be okay, but why did we choose 0.95 as the angular frequency out of the 3?
So out of the 3, because that's the natural frequency.
Because
So that one was just a starting value to using our calculation. That was an interim value. That wasn't quite converted. And that's a value that is now pretty much converted.
because
So it really lies somewhere between
chemical
those two
optimum power
values,
having a
but
resonance.
you could justify the use of those, but that one is going to be closer because it's your second stage iteration.
Okay, but you said something regarding resonance.
Because
Power's the most out.
resonance has like natural frequency, isn't it? And that's like the correct omega n, isn't it?
Yeah.
At resonance is most
Because
oscillation.
optimal power capture happens at resonance,
Yeah.
and for resonance you need the natural frequency, and that's the closest to the correct natural frequency.
Right, so, hello.
Are we using 1.5 for amperature 1?
1.5 is alpha.
Alpha.
1.49 megawatts.
We're using the stuff from here. This is
We're still using 6 seconds.
like we're still using all this. It's just that he's saying that just carry on. But if you didn't do that bit, let's say you've messed up, just carry. You can just start a new thing with these two.
So we say T is 10 seconds.
Yeah.